crafters, I'm back doing another drill with me. It's been a while. I have so much stuff to talk about. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump in. I'm still working on Cinderella, and as promised, we're going to finish the pumpkin today. So let's get started. Okay, I'm gonna dive right in. We're gonna work on K and L, and K is gonna be DMC 742, and L is 743. And way back, I don't remember if it was with Ariel or Jasmine, but way back I accidentally mixed these two colors up. So I have this little K and L box, and that's what I'm gonna be working from today. So I'll be working both colors at the same time. If you can see on the tray, and it's coming across really nice actually, the light is pretty good. The more yellow ones are L, 743. The more orangish tone are K742. So I'm gonna try and do this, not get mixed up while I talk my head off. So wish me luck. Hopefully I don't mess this up again. So let me get wax in my pen and we'll be good to go. Okay, well hi everybody. It's been so long and I'm sorry. I have no good excuses. I've just been really busy here in Frankfurt. I know that sounds silly. I was actually thinking about it the other day because I was talking with my husband about, gosh, I really, I want to film videos. I want to do more diamond painting. And he's like, well, go ahead and you should. You love it and get right on it. And I'm like, yeah, I just got to find time this week. And I started listing everything that I'm doing while here. And a lot of it is stuff in our community and some volunteering stuff and making connections, meeting friends, taking the kids out. And I realized my life here in Germany is just a lot busier and a little bit more full than in Tunisia. I loved Tunisia and it was gorgeous, but I did spend a lot of time at home. And I think it was because I kind of let either the language barrier or some other stuff just intimidate me into staying home. But here, I'm a lot more active in the community. I have a lot more friends. My kids have a lot more friends. There's just been more going on for us. I mean, everything from their Girl Scout troop. And yeah, guess who is volunteering and co-leading the Girl Scout troop this year? Yeah, me. Doing little things like that. There's a community group here I'm a part of. I'm trying to just assist with the Girl Scouts as much as possible. The girls' school, they're in kindergarten. All of this is really taking up a lot of my time, and my days are full, and I'm very happy with everything I'm doing, but I need to make more time for crafting. And I realized that, and I need to stop making excuses as to why I can't craft. I'm going really slow today. I feel like my pink wax keeps, let's have it focus, keeps popping out. And when my pen's not on the screen, I've been kind of poking it back in. I'm not sure if this stuff goes bad, but this is annoying. But yeah, life here has been really great, and I've started jotting down stuff to talk to you about, but I do want to finish my last bit of what I did in the United States. And I'll probably go through it way too quickly, or who knows, just chat, and spend the whole time talking about that. But two things I forgot in my last video when I was talking about what I did, and they were actually two really important things. So we stopped by Graceland. I can't believe I didn't mention that. We stopped by Graceland and it was really exciting to see, but we only stayed outside because we loaded the page to buy tickets. It was $68 per ticket. And then there were some add-ons of if you wanted to go and look at Elvis's personal plane. That was an additional ticket. And there were 5 of us. So we decided to not do it, but we did get to pop into Graceland and see kind of the outside. We just didn't do any of the tour stuff. And the other thing, I can't believe I forgot to mention this because it was really important to me. When we were in Colorado, and I told you we spent time with Joe's family, they lived really close to a Hobby Lobby. And I was talking to them and they said, yeah, it's a really great store. got all kinds of craft stuff. You should check it out. Because remember, I told you, we don't have a Hobby Lobby up where I live. Oh, there's a mower going by, if you can hear that. I have the windows open. It's a beautiful day here. But so there wasn't a Hobby Lobby. I popped into that one, and oh my gosh, it was so nice. I went to a Hobby Lobby for the first time ever. It was like this tranquil experience. My husband was walking around with the kids, and then I walked around on my own. I looked in every department, just kind of like put my hands on all the different crafts, and I was so impressed with the selection. I mean, even really out there crafts that I adore, like the hook and loop rug kind of crafts, they had a large selection, and I have never seen those in my local, oh, that's an L. There we go. My local Walmart or Michael's and all the places I've been shopping before. I bought out of their clearance section this blanket. It's different. It's a baby blanket to fit, like a thick quilt kind of blanket to fit a baby's crib. And it has this pre-printed pattern on it, and you just embroider over the pattern. So I'm really excited about that. It was on super duper clearance. I think it was originally $60 some, marked down to $17. So at that point, I had to buy it. I mean, that was such a good price. It was more than 50% off. But I need another hobby, like I need a hole in my head. Have you heard that one before? It's starting to stack up. It's starting to stack up. And I will do a tour at some point of my craft room and show you how I currently have it set up, because I'm absolutely embarrassed with all of the stuff that I have. And maybe if I show you guys, it will kind of, that the peer pressure of now people have seen this and they know how I'm living will help me better organize and actually do some of these crafts to make some space. But those are the two things I forgot to mention in the last video. And the last video cut off after our time in Colorado, which I adored. I would snap my fingers and go back in a heartbeat. Like if I could just, bam, be there, I would love it. It was, just felt really good feeling there. But we left Colorado, and that was, we did all kinds of fun stuff, went to the zoo, saw family, climbed a mountain, and we made our way down to New Mexico and Arizona. Now again, I didn't take the best notes about where we were, how long it took us, what cities we hit first, and it's been so long that I have forgotten a bit. So I don't have exact dates, and some of the events we did might be kind of jumbled, like maybe I did one on a Thursday and the next one I mentioned was that Monday. But when we were in Arizona and New Mexico, we saw a lot of really cool stuff. New Mexico, we went to the City of Rocks, and I'll try and put a picture in because it was gorgeous. It's just these rock structures that have formed kind of out in the middle of nowhere, nothing around it. And people go there and camp and have picnics, do walks and hiking. It was gorgeous. And my husband just had this great idea of, hey, why don't we go there at sunset and check it out? So we checked into our hotel when we were down there, and the woman at the front desk was super nice. We actually spent a lot of time chatting, and I would go down, have coffee, sit and talk with her for a few minutes, a couple times a day. And I said, this is something that we're really interested in, and we're gonna go and do it, and we're just chit-chatting. And she's like, oh, so get this. This is what she lays on me. She's like, oh, that's so much fun. Just be careful for all the snakes. And I'm like, what? Could you repeat that? What do you mean, all the snakes? And she's like, oh yeah, the snakes, they come, they lay on the rocks, they like the heat. And I don't know if I've told you this, I'm terrified of snakes. Like, terrified. I don't like the way snakes can move their body in the ways that they move their bodies. So I got really scared, and I actually only packed flip-flops for this whole trip. So when we get there, and we get there a few minutes before sunset, and it's gorgeous, and we're driving around, and then we get out to walk around, I am walking as if I'm on a frozen lake. I am taking the most baby steps, very careful, because I'm terrified that a snake is going to be on a rock, or it's going to come out of a small little bush and go by my foot. I didn't see any, but still, I was so freaked out. And we stayed for the sunset, and a sunset in New Mexico is gorgeous. Let me tell you, it was really beautiful, and I really enjoyed experiencing that with the kids. We all walked around the area and found a really good view. We stopped, got out of the car, and watched the sunset, and then we drove back. So we drove back to our hotel. But it was a really, really nice time. We actually only had one night in that area, and we made really good use of it. And then on our trip, we went in Arizona. When we were there, we did the coolest thing. Now, my husband said he wanted to do this when we got to Arizona, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure, sounds good, if you'd like to do it. And I just kind of was playing along of, yeah, I'll go, it's what you're interested in. But we went to Tombstone, and I loved it. I wanted to dress up in costume and be in a saloon, and I'm like telling my husband we need to go watch the movie. We did many times. But gosh, that was so much fun, and the kids loved it too. So when we were there, we actually booked like this 1-star hotel, and I have no idea why it was 1 star. I actually thought it was really nice because it was a hotel room, had 2 beds, had a TV, a couch, coffee station, clean bathroom. That's really all we need. And it was just 1 street over from the historic strip of Tombstone, where they have, shops and trinkets and different daily reenactions. So we were able to stay there and just walk back and forth to the city, the little strip of the city. And we had a great time. We ate at different restaurants. We popped in. We watched the reenactment for the OK Corral shootout. And the kids loved it. I mean, even the baby was like watching the cowboys. The girls wanted to see all the different reenactment shows. And it was just another really fun, cool day. I thought it would be my husband who walked away having the best time, and that this could be something we could do that he was really interested in. But we all walked away having a really great time. And surprising for me, I don't know, I'd never, I told you guys, I love history. I'm a history buff, and I used to teach history, and that just wasn't the time period I really studied much of. I never had to teach that time period, and I walked away being like, I want to learn as much as I can, because it was so much fun that I wanted to keep learning about these stories and people being there. And then you get to check out the old graveyard and all the gravestones that have these kind of interesting, funny sayings on them. But Tombstone was really cool. I'm glad that we stopped there. Kids, like I said, they call it Cowboy City. They still talk about it. And if we're ever back in the area, I would definitely like to go again and spend more time. I mean, I could definitely spend a whole lot of time shopping in the different stores while the kids watch a reenactment, and just at the end of the day, put our feet up in kind of a saloon, but a kid-friendly kind of restaurant with a saloon, and just hang out. And it really seemed like everyone was there just having fun together, hanging out. But I loved it. And let's see. We stopped at so many different roadside attractions. I tried to make a note today because you know how scattered I get. I'm like, focus. I put roadside attractions. Another really cool thing we did in Arizona, and I had never heard of this, my husband had, and I'm glad we stopped. The Pima Air Space Museum. It was cool. So it is, gosh, I don't know if calling it like an airplane graveyard is right, but it's a airplane museum, and there's an indoor component with some really great historic planes, And then outdoors, this huge airfields with row after row after row of different planes. And it's everything from World War II planes to Air Force One and a Concorde. And the kids really enjoyed it. The baby really likes airplanes. So that was just awesome. We got to check it out. It was very hot when we went. It's Arizona. It was summer, extremely hot. And that, for me, I don't handle heat well. So I did reach a point where I kind of had to tap out and I went and stayed inside the air-conditioned restaurant. But my husband continued to stay outside with the kids. They got a lot of great pictures. And that was another really cool stop that we did. And that was another, we're in this city for one night. So we have one thing we can do. And it's like, okay, this is what we're going to check out. And we did a lot of gift shopping because they had some really cool model airplanes and cool clothing stuff. We really enjoyed. That's another stop. And we're really, at this point in the home leave trip, we're riding on this great high that we keep hitting all these really fun places. And the kids were so well behaved. Completely blows my mind how lucky we were that they were just down for all these adventures that we planned and down for all the different traveling. So the Air and Space Museum was awesome. I'm gonna shake my drills real quick. Get a flat surface here. Line them up a little better. I'm so bad about that. But here you can kind of see the yellow and the orange mixed together. I'm still working on that. And of course, when we're in this area and we're going all through like Arizona and New Mexico, we hit up the Grand Canyon, which was cool. Cool and chaotic. I don't know if I should get into the details. I thought it was really cool. The kids were just kind of like, they didn't get it. So my husband and I, we keep getting them out of the car of like, come on, it's another lookout place. Let's take a picture. And they're like, can we just get back in the car? They had their tablets on the day that we did the drive. So they were just more into their tablets and having fun with that. But they stayed well behaved. So my husband and I could really enjoy it. But that was a day with... Oh, there's a bird, like, right outside my window. My window's open. It's like, what's that noise? And it's a bird. It was walking on the roof. That was a day that, it's like, okay, kids, let's all get out of the car. And they're like, okay. It's like, come on, let's go. And then we get out and we take a picture and they're like, can we get back in the car? And it's like, yeah, sure, okay. And I think if I was in their shoes, if I went to the Grand Canyon at that point, they were still 4. I don't know how enthusiastic I would be because you go and you see it once and it's like, wow, this is really cool. And then your parents keep getting you out of the car every few miles at every lookout stop. And it's like, okay, guys, this is the same. It's the same thing. I'm ready to move on. But my husband and I had fun. And then I think after we left the national park, we ate at a Wendy's. And they were really excited about that. They got the kids' meal. And they got a dinosaur toy, so they ended their day on a high note. Axel's here too. He's like looking out the window, making sure nothing else comes around. So if you hear anything, it's him too. And let's see. We went to the Hoover Dam. That was cool, but that was probably the hottest day, one of the hottest days of our trip. So when it came time to parking at the Hoover Dam, even I was like, okay, let's take a quick peek, let's do a picture and get back in the car and on the move. I think that was one of the days that it was like 104 or 106 degrees and it was hot and there were a lot of people there. It was one of those days that was so hot when we were walking to get our picture taken. My shoes felt like they were just melting into the asphalt. Like I would pick my shoes up and it was almost like I had stepped in gum for our whole walk. And that wasn't the case because I checked my feet. It was just that hot that the bottom of my flip-flops were melting to the ground. And we went to the Hoover Dam on our way to Vegas. Woo! Yeah, we were crazy enough to go to Las Vegas with the kids. And I'm really glad we stopped because Vegas with kids was a lot of fun. We had a great time. And here's the thing. I think when I look back on when I went to Vegas, I've been a few times with Joe, with my husband, and we have spent more money at doing Vegas with kids than we spent just the two of us, because all of the kid stuff is a lot more expensive than just the single stuff. So we did, we splurged. We really splurged, and we did the Excalibur show, the one that's sort of like medieval times, but it was really very elaborate, like a fire and light show, and you have knights riding horses and a singer, and the horses were doing really great elaborate stunts, and you get caught up in this story and you're eating, and that was a lot of fun. We did that at Excalibur. Where did we stay? We stayed, I can't even remember. So it's the hotel behind Aria. It's like connected with the Aria, but it's like a non-smoking, no casino hotel. So it doesn't attract kind of like the rowdy, I'm here for like gambling and drinking kind of crowd. I mean, they had like a bar in the lobby, but there wasn't a lot of drinking, walking around late in the evening. There weren't many people out. So it was a good, quiet hotel. Good for being there with the family. And Excalibur was close. So we did Excalibur, and we went to Circus, and the kids got to see the different shows that they put on, and the Circus casino that they have, not casino, arcade that they have, which is almost like $1 per game. And I'm talking like small little, I have lost my mind. I can't think of the name. You know, you have all the balls come out and you throw the ball and you try to get the ball in the hole, like under skee ball. Skee ball, that's it. So even like skee ball was $1 per game. It was quite pricey, but we had a lot of fun. And they even had like carnival style games in their arcade. And what was really cool is most of the people running these carnival style games, they allow your child to maybe take more chances than usual until they won to get a prize, or they would like let our kids, you know, stand in front of the line that they were supposed to stand behind, so they had a better chance, and they got to win little stuffed animals and things like that. They had a really fun time, and it seemed like the people there, the people in the arcade and the people running the games, I mean, they know that you've already spent a lot of money on these little game cards, and they're being really really cool with letting your little kids get the prizes. So it was really fun. We spent a lot more time at Circus than I thought we would. The same with Excalibur, because they have an arcade. They're another place with an arcade on the strip. And it was just a lot of fun. Even my husband and I were playing them. Oh. Helicopter. There's a helicopter going by. One of the things that I've heard people in this area of Frankfurt often complain about is the plane noise, because we are in the flight path for the airport. But for me, it doesn't really bother me. I only hear it when I have my windows open. But Vegas was a lot of fun. We even had a night where, so my husband and I like watching the Gordon Ramsay Hell Kitchen shows. And sometimes we even just watch the older seasons, because we're kind of late to the show with those. We didn't start watching it right away. And we decided to go to one of the Gordon Ramsay restaurants while we were in Vegas. I mean, they're advertised, all these fancy restaurants are advertised like crazy. But we were thinking, with kids, really, could we go to a fancy kind of restaurant? And Gordon Ramsay burger was an option, and it's in the bottom floor of the Planet Hollywood casino, and it's really loud and crowded, and we actually thought this is kind of a great place to have kids eat, because if the kids are loud, doesn't matter. You have the sound of the slot machines and other people eating and all this stuff going on. So we went and we ate dinner there, but when we checked in, it was like a 45-minute to an hour wait. And we went early. We either went on a Friday or Saturday night, but we did go early. I think we were there before 5 p.m. kind of deal. And that was the wait. But what worked out well is our kids wanted to get some just drinks. And we're like, okay, it might be a while. Let's get some snacks. So they went to the Starbucks, which is also right there on the ground floor of Planet Hollywood. And while we were there, my husband and I kind of traded off. And he would go to a slot machine for 5 or 10 minutes. I would go to a slot machine for 5 or 10 minutes. And I did a little bit of gambling in Vegas. I think I lost $4 before I was like, okay, I'm kind of done. And then my husband goes, does a little bit of gambling, and bam, they call our number. Like, it's time to go up. And we had maybe only been waiting 12 minutes. We're like, I thought you guys said an hour. It works out well, but afterwards, I'm like, oh, well, we have a little bit of money left on this printout card that they gave us, the little ticket. Why don't you go and just play it down? And I went out and stood outside on the strip, and, you know, they have that early in the evening, there's, like, people dressed in costumes. There was, like, people dressed in PJ Masks costumes and Elmo and Cookie Monster. So the kids are walking around, they're looking at all this, they're having a good time. And I'm getting these texts from my husband. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, you won't believe this, I'm up like $60. And I'm like, well, keep going. If you're winning, keep going. We're doing great out here. The kids are watching Outlet and Gecko and all the PJ Masks characters. They're having a great time. So we managed to go to Vegas with kids, have a wonderful time, and win a little bit of money. So it was a fun trip. I can't remember. I think we were there for maybe 3 or 4 days. Maybe like 3 nights, 4 full days kind of deal. And a lot of that time also was just relaxing in the hotel room and just chilling out and taking a break. But that was a lot of fun. And then after Vegas, we drove directly to California. And my husband grew up in California, so it really has a special place in his heart. And he grew up north of, he would do this geography so much better than me. He grew up a little north of LA, but up in the mountains. So he has these really fond memories of when he was a little boy, and he lived in a cabin that was built by hand, and all the fun he got into, the outdoors that he got to experience, and walking in the woods and playing in the woods. And we wanted to do that and experience that with the kids. So we took them back to Dad's old neighborhood, and he had a lot of fun with that. They got to spend the night in a cabin. In the cabin that we got, I think it was on Airbnb or something like that, and it was decorated like a cabin. It was covered with bear decor and bear stuffed animals, and it was really kid friendly with baby gates, so it was perfect for us. And we spent a few nights there, and while we were up there, we drove down to LA, and we went to a Dodgers game. And my husband's a Dodgers fan. I didn't really have a baseball team when I first met him, so I'm like, okay, you become a fan of my hockey team, I'll become a fan of your baseball team. And he's like, okay, deal. So we got to see the Dodger game. I had never been to a Dodger game in person. I've always seen them on TV, or I've seen them at National Stadium in DC, but I'd never been there in LA, and we got to see it. And I was surprised because our kids were really into the game. And they've seen baseball on TV before, but I was not expecting 3 kids, which were 2 4-year-olds and a 1-year-old, to sit so well and watch the game. And even the 1-year-old, he was really into it. He would watch when the ball was hit, he'd follow when the ball was hit, and he'd pick up on the social clues of, oh, everyone's clapping, I'm gonna clap too. And the Dodgers won the game. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that we went, and we drove back up to the mountains and had a lot of fun there. And then we drove down to LA. We stayed in El Segundo for a few nights, another neighborhood where my husband used to live. And again, kind of showing the kids the different places that their dad remembered playing. Since we spent so much time in Northern Virginia where I grew up, it was fun for them to see where their daddy grew up. And of course, eating at In-N-Out Burger. I loved it, having all that fun stuff. And I keep telling you guys, like, we did both Disneys. So when we were down in El Segundo in LA, we ended up getting reservations for the Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. But we were like, how are we going to do this? Because pretty quickly on in this trip, we looked for tickets and we realized Disneyland is a lot more expensive than Disney World. I had no idea. I thought Disney World was more expensive. So I was thinking that we were going to go to Disneyland and it was going to be cheaper for us to do. And no, it definitely wasn't. So tickets were $150. And my husband just decided, like, no, we just can't afford it at this time. We're not going to go. Because while the baby would be free, you know, me, my husband, the toddlers, the girls, we would have to buy tickets for. And we were there with my in-laws. They flew out to meet us, and it made the trip a lot more fun. Having the grandparents, the kids had such a fun time. But that would have been, I mean, more than almost $1,000 just for the entrance tickets. And we weren't gonna do that. But the night before our Galaxy's Edge reservation, I was talking about it with my husband, and I'm like, look, maybe we can talk to your parents. Maybe, you know, they could watch the kids and you and I could go. And he thought about it. He's like, I don't know if I want to go without them. But I was like, okay, whatever you decide, I will support you. And after a little bit, he's like, you know what? Let me talk to my parents. And he talked to his parents. They were very supportive of it. And he's like, okay, let's go. Let's do this. And I went to Disneyland with my husband without any kids. And I had a wonderful time. Disney without kids was really different. We had done it before. We'd been to Disneyland before we had kids. And that was a day that we did like opening to close. But knowing that the kids were at home, we didn't do nearly that long. But we had a really fun time. It was kind of like a day date. And we were just laughing and playing around. And I'm glad that we went. I'm glad that he changed his mind, because that was one of the highlights of LA for me, getting to spend some time with him. After this family trip that we'd been on for weeks and weeks and weeks, we had a wonderful time, but we had no alone time. When, you know, every single night we're all getting cramped in the same room. Like, really, there was no time that my husband and I spent just the two of us doing an activity. Because if I had some time where, like, I was sitting in a lobby drinking some coffee, you know, he was in the room watching the kids. And it was fun. Got to have, like, my lanyard, and I love Disney pins. I'm so into Disney pin trading right now. And I was walking around trading for other pins. And it was a lot of fun. And that was our Disney trip. And we did other little things in LA. We met up with some friends. We went to Balboa Pier. I had never been there, and the kids rode the Ferris wheel. Got ice cream. Just a really nice time. My husband would love to move back to LA, but I don't know if that's in the cards for us. I mean, I would love to go to Colorado or Virginia. We'll see. We'll see in a couple years who wins out with that one. But I've done all of the K for the pumpkin, and I'm now out of L, so I only have K left. So I'm gonna put these back in, get more L, and do a little bit of a drill change here. And from here, let's see, there we go, there we go. Okay, here's the L. All lined up. Again, this is DMC 743, and it looks really good on my tray. I've got some great light coming in, so what you see is what I see. So, in addition to me being really busy and kind of making excuses about why I haven't been crafting, in addition to all that, hold on, I'm gonna move my chair and move my angle a little bit. I just realized I'm starting to put some weight on the bottom of my canvas, and it's folded over the side of the table, so I don't want to put so much weight that I start pushing the drills out of line. So in addition, about maybe two or 3 days ago, I was talking with one of my daughters, and she's like, yeah, and Mom, when are you gonna finish my Princess Diamond painting? I thought you were gonna finish that. And I'm like, hold up. That's a large diamond painting. Okay, I've been a little busy. Like, I'm trying to rationalize with a 5-year-old. By the way, well, I think I mentioned in the other video, they had their birthday here in Frankfurt. They are 5 now and as adorable and sassy as ever. But it made me realize when I had started this, I believe, February or March. I would have to go back and look. I have been working extremely slow. But I told myself that this was going to be a Christmas present for the girls. Since we've moved here, they have their room set up, they have their playroom set up, they have a lot of empty walls, nothing on it. So I really do need to start moving pretty quickly on this because, ooh, look at me using the 3 spacer. Look at that. Because if I want to finish this by Christmas, and with my schedule being as busy as it currently is, I really need to get started. I need to start moving quickly. There is no more excuses. I mean, let's see. We have almost the end of September. So October, November, December. I've got at least, 12 weeks, 13 weeks. And I have 3 princesses to finish. I'm barely just halfway. So I really, really, really need to get going. And I think what I'm going to do later tonight, I need to sit down and do more of the black outline. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, something that's taking me, taking my work, my free time away from the diamond painting. I'm doing a test knit too right now. I know, right? I'm test knitting my first ever sweater, and I'm horrible at it. So I ordered the yarn, and I wanted to use the same yarn that the designer used, and I love this designer because I think it's a Lion brand yarn. Very affordable, super accessible in the United States. So I ordered it in the United States, and that's when I started my waiting game. The first 2.5 weeks was just waiting for the yarn. The mail here getting to Germany is actually a lot slower than the mail in Tunisia because there's thousands of packages that they have to sort through and get to the right people. So the workload is a lot more. It's not that they're working slower, it's just they're working with a lot more packages than they did in Tunisia. And then by the time I got started with my schedule, all this stuff kept coming up, and I feel really horrible. So the due date for this test knit was actually almost 2 weeks ago. But I talked to the designer, and I'm like, I am so sorry. I haven't made it. I'm switching colors, by the way, while I chat. And she's like, no worries. A lot of the people have not finished yet. She said no one has finished yet. So she was really nice about it. Just enjoy your time knitting, enjoy the experience, and go from there. I'm gonna work on N right now, which is 744, and it's a nice, pretty pale yellow. So that's another thing. And then to make things that more complicated, I struggled to understand the pattern because this is the first sweater I've ever knit, and it really is a standard pattern. I mean, it's not like she wrote something that was difficult. It's quite easy when looking at other patterns. Now that I've started it and I've done those stitches, I understand. But I really, really struggled. And I'm at the body of the sweater right now where I just need to do the same thing like 15,000 times. And I'm very tall, so I told you guys that. The sweater is gonna be longer and I just need to really get to work on that. Really get to work on that. But that's another thing I've been up to. My gosh, I'm crazy. Why do I do this? I take on so much and I enjoy it all. I just need more time in my day. I definitely need more time in my day. I think what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna finish up the slight yellow and the white of this pumpkin and do the green separate. But I really love this color, how it just kind of fades and transitions into itself. I will say, I've mentioned this before in videos, when I got this large canvas, I was really intimidated, but I'm glad I went bigger. By having the bigger canvas, you get to see all of these different DMCs come together, fade into each other, and it looks really good when you have this far away, a few inches back. I think if I had gotten the smaller one, I would have felt disappointed. And they even make this one in a larger size. My goodness. So some people could go bigger and have an even more super pretty canvas. But yeah. So the due date for this, we got to get this done by December. If you've been working on this, please update me with where you're at. Peer pressure me into going faster. I just need to. I just remember in Tunisia, I would have a couple days where I could sit for 3 hours, or in the evening when the kids were sleeping, and just diamond paint and diamond paint and diamond paint. But right now, one of the things that I'm doing in the evening is just resting because I'm so tired. So for the kids, I wake up at 5:45 in the morning, and that gives me enough time to like take the dog out, pack all the lunches and snacks for school, and then get the kids up and ready and out the door and on the school bus. So honestly, by 9 p.m., I'm exhausted. I'm just so tired. And I'm already like winding down for the day. Where in Tunisia, we had a little bit more of a flexible schedule. The kids could really, you know, they didn't have to be at school until, gosh, I think like 8:30. So it made it easier, or if somebody slept in, no big deal. The school was really close. Here, the school is more than 30 minutes away without traffic. Whew. Okay, I need to find this one. That is DMC 5200. Where did I put that one? Here we go. No, that's not. I'm wrong. That's not 5200. That is 39. I found it. That could have been really bad if I put the wrong DMC on there. This one I actually didn't have space for, so I just kept in a little plastic Tupperware container. And this is an even paler shade of yellow, almost like a yellow white, not quite cream, but really pale. This is DMC 3823. Let's see, got good light. So see, it's yellow, but it's a very pale yellow. I'm gonna go ahead. There's only a few of these, so hopefully I can get this. I'll get this video up tonight. So when you are watching it, just know this was what I was doing this afternoon while the baby was napping, instead of all the other things that I should have been doing, but it's okay. And let me know down below. Peer pressure me. Be like, where have you been? Get back to work. I actually think what would work better is lives. When I can just hop on and do a live and, you know, have my schedule be either I'm going to be on every single day at this time, or I can hop on and be a little bit more flexible. So once I get enough subscribers for that, I can hop on and do lives, and that might also be better instead of me filming and then later uploading. Internet here is okay, but it's not great. It takes me a long time to upload a video. Just like Tunisia, I would have thought when I had come here it would have been better. And I think what I'm gonna focus on doing in between videos is get the black outline in addition to the green pumpkin up here. My next video, I'm gonna talk about all the cool stuff we've been doing in Germany, including, here's a little bit of a spoiler to keep you on the edge of your seat, the phone call I got saying we had to leave Germany. Yes, we have already left for a little bit. Dun, dun, dun. No, nothing, everyone's okay. Everyone's okay. We went on a little side trip. That was a lot of fun. I'm gonna tell you all about it. And let's see, I think for my next one, maybe, oh, I'm gonna take it off the stand. So if it's loud, I apologize. There we go. Oh, look at that pumpkin, it's so great. So I've done the pumpkin and the glass slipper. I think for the next one, or by the next time I do a video, I wanna try and get a lot of this green vine done, maybe work on the Cinderella banner and some of the black outline. That may be a lot, I don't wanna overdo myself, but the next video I really wanna tackle this beautiful blue and light blue dress. So, put anything you want down below, questions, comments, peer pressure me, and I will talk to you later. Bye, crafters.